Good morning, and thank you for joining me today for my first State of the City as the Mayor of Pueblo. I'd like to welcome you all today to Memorial Hall. Each year, the Mayor of the City is responsible for producing a report that details the state of the city, the progress towards previous goals, and plans for the upcoming year. Today, I'll be sharing with you our accomplishments and challenges in 2024 and what we are working towards in 2025. Before I get much further in my presentation, I would like to say thank you to Tracy Bastion for her beautiful rendition of the national anthem. Let's give her a round of applause for her performance this morning. Also, thank you to our color guard, which is comprised of both Police Department Corporal Pat Cancino and Officer Bryce Rio, and Fire Department members Billy Karcher and Isaiah Chaprone. Please give them an applause. As you can see, I am joined here on stage by the department directors of the City of Pueblo. I have asked them to join me on stage today because while it is the mayor's task to present the state of the city, these are the hardworking individuals who help run our city each day and lead our departments to ensure the services and obligations to our citizens are carried out. I'd like to recognize them individually. Please stand when I call your name. Deputy Mayor and Chief of Pueblo Police Department, Chris Knoller. Chief of Pueblo Fire Department, Barb Huber. City Attorney, Carla Sykes. Chief of Staff, Brian McCain. City Clerk, Marissa Stoller. Aviation Director, Greg Pedroza. Information Technology Director, Lori Pence. Public Works Director, Andrew Hayes. Transit Director, Ben Valdez. Wastewater Director, Andrew Ahrens. Purchasing Director, Naomi Hedden. Human Resources Director, Marissa Pacheco. Our Interim Director of Finance, Danny Nunn. Director of Just Transitions, Renee Martinez. Municipal Judge, Nelson Dunford. Director of Planning and Community Development, Scott Hobson. Fleet Superintendent, Tom Cummings. Interim Civil Service Administrator, Serena Knox. And Director of Parks and Rec, Stephen Meyer. Thank you to all of these directors and our incredible city employees who provide essential services and amenities to the City of Pueblo. If I have any city employees who are here today and not busy working, please stand up and let's give them a round of applause. Thank you. Over the last year, I have had the privilege of working with the City Council, which represents the legislative branch of our government. The City Council passed 246 ordinances that allow us to provide services to the community and pursue capital improvements. Over 2024, City Council had some accomplishments that I would like to share. Councilor Sarah Martinez worked to revitalize key areas of our city. This year, she had the privilege of working alongside local businesses along Union Avenue and Northern to host 2 successful community cleanups. These efforts not only beautified these areas, but also fostered a sense of pride and unity among the residents and business owners alike. She advanced parental rights in local government as the first pregnant person to serve on City Council. She recognized the need for a policy that protects the rights of new parents in elected office. She proudly created and passed parental leave policy, ensuring that City Council members can take time to care for their families without the fear of losing their positions. City Council lobbied on several key issues, including home rule, crime bills, local government jobs, and air quality mandates. In a continued effort to fight for the rate increase against Black Hills, President Mark Aliff was the lead voice for the city to say enough to the already high rates we pay Black Hills. President Aliff also has created a committee to revisit the Aquatic Center for the community and has been instrumental in helping my administration advocate for new tourism dollars, like bringing a proposed Da Vinci Museum. Work session chair Regina Maestri brought new accountability and transparency to the City Council work session by asking key speakers to present on agenda items. New this year was the request for the budget work sessions early in the budget process from departments to address the needs of each and to keep the council informed. District 2 Councilor Joe Latino advocated for a works program facilitated through Catholic Charities to employ unhoused individuals in the community doing cleanups. Councilor Roger Gomez has been working on the syringe access program and the discarding of needles in the community. He has worked with the stakeholder group to reduce the high numbers, and we are happy to report through Access Point that they have seen an increased needle return rate, going from a rate of 31% from August to September to 53.5% from October to November. Councilor Dennis Flores was very proud to host yet another economic forum that was well attended and very informative. He was also an advocate for the city's asset airstrip, the Sky Corral, and making sure they have continued use of their airstrip. Finally, Councilor Brett Boston was newly appointed through 2 rounds of appointments at the vacant at-large seat. He has been working to support small businesses, and he has been instrumental in the process to hold hotel licensees in the city of Pueblo more accountable when it comes to the health and safety of the community. I know I've seen the council members here today. If you want to stand up, and please give them a round of applause for all their hard work. Thank you. I want to briefly mention some of the important work that happens within our city that is not normally mentioned in our State of the City printed report. Many times, the internal workings of our city go unnoticed from our departments like Fleet, IT, HR, Law, Purchasing, and Civil Service. Beginning with Fleet. The Fleet Maintenance Department is an internal city department that is responsible for city-owned assets across 38 departments and divisions. In 2024, Fleet added 28 assets to Fleet across 10 departments in addition to managing assets. Fleet is also in charge of disposing vehicles and equipment no longer necessary or able to be used in the city. Fleet staffing includes 1 fleet superintendent, 1 shop supervisor, 6 mechanics, 1 admin assistant, 1 service rider, 2 parts technicians. These individuals are responsible for the work of 2,300 work orders that were completed last year. It is because of these individuals, our plows, police vehicles, mowers, fire engines, trash trucks, and more are serviced and maintained across the city. Fleet ordered and processed 300,000 gallons of fuel for city entities, including Fleet Main Fuel Site, Airport, Wastewater Treatment Plant, City Park, Mineral Palace Park, Elmwood Golf Course, and Walking Stick Golf Course. Now on to the IT department. I am incredibly proud of the work our IT department has accomplished in 2024. The launch of the Real-Time Crime Center was a large-scale project, including all the infrastructure, software implementation, testing, and legwork the department did to make it successful. While I will go into more detail about the RTCC later, I want to recognize that this would not have been possible without the coordination of our IT staff. Additionally, IT was recognized with 2 major awards last year, which included recognition for the Center of Digital Government Digital City Survey Award, where the City of Pueblo was recognized as a top 10 winner for our population size for modernizing IT infrastructure, digital equality programs, and upgrading resident-facing services and prioritizing data security. Also for the government consecutive year, the IT department was recognized for the CDG Government Experience Awards and placed 4th for government services to create a better engaged constituency and a more responsive government. Moving on to civil service. Another vital role in our city is civil service. Last year, civil service processed over 3,000 job applications for those looking to work for the city of Pueblo. This was for a total of 126 job postings. The Civil Service Commission also held 18 meetings in 2024. We are continually looking for innovative and effective ways to attract quality applicants to work with us at the city of Pueblo. In December of 2024, Civil Service implemented a new marketing tool with NeoGov called Attract to assist with marketing and attracting new city employees for job postings. Now on to highlight the Law Department. Our Law Department assisted Pueblo City Council in 2024 with a total of 246 ordinances which were passed. The Law Department provided legal advice and guidance to City Council, the Mayor, City Boards and Commissions, and City Departments. It reviews, negotiates, and drafts all nature of contracts for the city, manages all litigation in which the city is a party, and prosecutes all case dockets into municipal court. The law department employs 7 full-time assistant city attorneys, a legal assistant, and a legal support assistant. The attorneys and staff are some of the most accomplished within their profession. One attorney of the law department is the current president of the Pueblo County Bar Association, and another attorney has been the treasurer of Pueblo County Bar Association over the last 10 years. The department's legal assistant received the 2024 Pueblo County Bar Association Legal Support Award. The law department was instrumental in preparing the ballot questions that resulted in the amendment of the city charter. To give an overview of purchasing, the purchasing department is a small but mighty department that serves every single department within the city. Every project, bid, approval for award, and contract for services is touched by the purchasing department and ensures an equitable process. The purchasing department worked on 142 formal bids and RFPs throughout the year, an average of 12 major projects a month. Of the 122 contracts, we awarded them to just over 70 contractors and consultants in 2024. Purchasing approved and converted 3,300 purchase orders in addition to at least half as many change orders to purchase orders. 20 liens were put up for auction through our public service surplus website. In addition to formal solicitations, purchase orders, and lien auctions, purchasing handles all non-standard government, approved all informal bids, and sole source purchases for each department on a daily basis. They worked with 693 different vendors throughout the year. Purchasing also manages the city's warehouse of items for use by the department. They currently source, order, and stock approximately 300 items which are used by departments, including office supplies, safety supplies, paper products, cleaning products, chemicals, tools, flags, and batteries. In 2024, purchasing processed 781 inventory orders at a total cost of $123,000. Additionally, we had 90 public auctions for miscellaneous items no longer being used by departments and added $15,000 to the general fund rather than adding waste to the landfill or paying for recycling. This was all done by just 7 employees. While Human Resources is not responsible for the entire life cycle of hiring, HR staff does handle the post-recruitment selection activities for both the City of Pueblo and Pueblo Transit for all full-time hires through conditional and formal offers. HR is often tapped to assist with job descriptions for temporary seasonal positions and processes all new hire paperwork to get them into the HR and payroll system. The HR team concluded a large compensation study project with outside counsel firm in 2024. Please join me in a round of applause for these hardworking city departments. Now that I have shared with you some of the inside information of how the City of Pueblo functions, I'd like to share with you some of our accomplishments and challenges we faced in 2024. On to the Finance Department. As I have spoken about many times this year, the City of Pueblo is facing an $8.6 million shortfall over the fiscal year of 2025. The decline in city revenues and higher expenses require that the 2025 budget represent a more conservative and prudent approach to spending tax dollars. That's due largely in part to a decrease in revenue and sales tax collection. For fiscal year 2025, it is projected that the total revenue and other sources of funds is approximately $117 million, a decrease of approximately 4.2% relative year 2024 adopted budget. The past several years, the sales tax projections used to create the city's budget have been inflated, as proven by actual revenue received. This was caused by one-time federal stimulus funds that were made available to the city during and following the pandemic. The reality is those revenue sources were one-time in nature and have now ended. Approximately 62% of the city's budget comes from sales and use tax. 11 months of 2024, sales tax collections were up on paper 3.6%, mostly due to an unexpected one-time payment resulting in an additional $4 million. In actual reporting, sales tax was down 7 out of the 11 months, resulting in a decrease of 1.2% sales tax year to date. The city's lodging tax is also down 8.8% year to date. Unfortunately, with the decline in revenues, I made the decision to cut back non-departmental and nonprofit funding by 49%. This is not a reflection of the agencies themselves or their importance, but rather a reflection of the city's current financial position and for the administrations to come. As mayor, I also took a look at the open funded positions we had and made the difficult decision to cut 18 positions in city staffing, resulting in a $500,000 savings. In November of 2024, the 2025 budget was submitted and approved by City Council. The prudent budget calls for expenditures of $125 million, a 5.4% decrease in spending from the previous year. The City of Pueblo is committed to providing services to its citizens in an efficient, effective, and transparent manner. Moving on to grants. Now we look at how we source revenue outside of sales tax and the successes we experience in grant funding. The City of Pueblo submitted 92 grant applications in 2024. 44 requests were awarded for a total of $28 million. This includes a grant for Benedict Park rehabilitation, Real-Time Crime Center addition, HARP gap funding, and a $13 million grant for the Union Avenue Bridge demo and construction. Grant funds received by the City of Pueblo support important programs and services that the city provides to the community. These funds allow the city to extend pre-existing services, introduce new initiatives, and pursue technological advances. Grant funds are dispersed throughout the city and impact a variety of efforts, including security, economic development, public impact, a variety of efforts, safety, transportation, recreation, infrastructure improvement, and maintenance, among others. Now on to highlight Pueblo Transit. Other accomplishments by the City of Pueblo included excellent growth and expansions of services from Pueblo Transit. The department accepted a grant award between the City of Pueblo and Colorado Association of Transit Agencies for $62,000, ensuring kids ride free through October of 2025, continuing the program for a 5th year straight. This means students, kindergarten through 12th grade, ride free of charge with Pueblo Transit. In condition with the Pueblo Area Council of Governments, Pueblo Transit converted 2 underperforming trailer routes into 2 new transfer routes. These were the first additional new routes offered by Pueblo Transit since 1981. The north and south shopping routes have improved commute times to the city's most desired shopping and restaurant locations and offer the community an additional 13 transfer locations, which makes the commute with Pueblo Transit more efficient for all. A van pool pilot program has been funded with state multimodal funds and is currently recruiting local companies to utilize the service, which officially started in January of 2024. Additionally, 70 bus stops will be outfitted with solar lighting through a grant funded through 2025. A Transit Riders app has also been funded and will commence in the spring of 2026. As you may have heard, Pueblo Transit kicked off Veterans Ride Free starting January of 2025. Veterans will ride free. It will be a great initiative for the Home of Heroes. Moving out to the Pueblo Airport. In 2024, the airport received over $10 million from the Federal Aviation Association, state and local funding to complete multiple projects, including rehabilitation of the primary runway, acquiring a new snowplow and a new forklift, pavement rehab of the east ramp, and other airport projects to help enhance the safety of the airport users. In late summer of 2025, the airport will host the Pueblo Wings of Pride Air Show featuring the U.S. Air Force Thunderbirds. This 2-day event will be held September 27th and 28th and is anticipated to draw over 60,000 aviation enthusiasts to Pueblo. Additionally, in 2025, we will be looking to do a $4 million renovation to the airport, and we will welcome a new airline with a couple dozen new jobs. Now for the work of the city clerk. The city clerk's office held a successful 2024 mayoral runoff election in January. Since this was the first standalone election the city has run in at least 20 years, the clerk's office created and implemented protocols and procedures incorporating a modern mail ballot election. Election judges hand-processed 25,000 ballots, and final unofficial results were tallied by 11 p.m. on Election Day. The 2024 city election had 4 charter amendments suggested by city staff, which council voted to approve to put on the ballot. They were 2A, municipal court maximum fines, which passed, 2B, modernization terms and technology, which failed, 2C, greater election coordination, which passed, and 2D, municipal election provisions, which failed. For the first time, campaign finance report for the municipal elections were created and collected online and published publicly on the city's website, increasing transparency and accountability for monies used in election campaigning. A city council at-large seat was filled twice this year by council appointment. The city clerk's office collected 59 resumes, coordinated 11 interviews, and swore in 2 new councilors as part of the process. Now to highlight the work of our wastewater department. The wastewater department has a long record of compliance and good relationships with the state and EPA. In 2024, the wastewater department won a Peak Performance Silver Award for 4 years of compliance with the Colorado discharge permit from the National Association of Clean Water Agencies. The collection crew responded to 151 emergency callouts in 2024 to check sanitary mains and clean them if blocked. Pueblo crews have a very aggressive requirement to clean all sanitary main lines at least once every 2 years to make sure we limit the number of issues for our citizens. Most North Range cities have a standard of only once every 3 to 5 years. On to Pueblo Municipal Court. The number of charges filed in municipal court increased significantly in 2024, totaling 21,500 charges for the year. The court recognizes the efforts of local law enforcement agencies and expects this number to increase as the police department obtains full staffing in its patrol officers. The court's community service team is made up of court staff and adult and juvenile defendants, continuing fulfilling its primary function of citywide graffiti removal. The team also oversees the city's community garden, assists with community cleanup events, helps local nonprofit agencies, and participates in events such as the state fair and holiday parades. Now I'd like to highlight our departments that have primarily been able to assist and carry out the campaign promises I made to you, the citizens of Pueblo. My priorities were addressing homelessness throughout the community, developing and beautifying our city, and public safety. Our municipal court department has been a large part of assisting the city since we took over ownership of the Pueblo shelter, formerly known as the Pueblo Rescue Mission. The city of Pueblo acquired both properties, 710 West 4th and 728 West 4th. The U-shaped buildings serve as an emergency shelter building and a resource center with office spaces for nonprofits and community partners to provide wraparound services. The 728 West 4th Street building is the city's only permanent homeless shelter and is currently being run by our shelter director, Dave Tunnell, and his staff. Our partner, Safeside Recovery, has taken the physical sponsorship and offers daytime programming for residents and outreach for individuals. Since October, when the city took ownership and Safeside began working more intensely with residents, 10 individuals have been able to secure permanent housing and leave the shelter for a place that they call home. I am incredibly proud of the work the city has done in a short amount of time to assist our unhoused neighbors and to restore trust and confidence in the shelter. To further support those in need, the city has allocated funding for pallet shelter communities equipped with restrooms and shower facilities. These communities will serve as temporary housing solutions for individuals transitioning out of homelessness, providing them with the stability and support they need. The location for the site plan is located between the Pueblo Rescue Mission and the emergency shelter on 4th Street, which now provides extra unused parking. This is a project we will complete in phases in the next coming years. Our team has been running the emergency shelter with emergency declarations every night since October. With the latest cold snap we saw over the weekend, the emergency shelter was housing upwards of 70 individuals a night, an all-time record for the shelter. With addressing homelessness also comes development in the community and creating more affordable housing and options for existing residents and people looking to move to Pueblo. We are continuously looking for ways to collaborate and stimulate growth throughout the city. In January of 2024, the City of Pueblo transferred 2 lots to the Pueblo Urban Renewal Authority. Pura successfully constructed 4 housing units consisting of 2 duplexes on these lots. We will continue the work with Urban Renewal on these opportunities. On January 27th, City Council will consider another piece of land on the east side the city owns to be transferred to Pura in order to build more affordable housing. In 2024, the Planning and Community Development Department was very busy and incredibly successful. This department completes the review and approval of land use applications and zoning compliance reviews, designated historic building modifications, development submittals for new and expanded commercial and industrial locations, and conditioning use permits for marijuana businesses. The submittals include Planning and Zoning Commission and Zoning Board of Appeals applications. In addition to the administrative review of zoning and compliance requests, the number of land use applications and certifications totaled 1,286 in 2024. Single-family and multifamily residential unit building permits increased from 173 in 2023 to 466 housing units in 2024, an increase of 249%. The significant increase is a result of the 351 new apartment and duplex units that received building permits in 2024. The number of single-family homes and manufactured homes receiving building permits in 2024 was about 80 homes compared to the 157 in 2023. Land use applications for subdivision, rezoning, annexation, street vacations, rearrangement of property boundaries, and land use plans totaled 45 applications, an increase of 25% since 2023. Some of the development you may have already begun to see includes South Pueblo Boulevard commercial developments. In 2024, construction started on several commercial businesses along the South Pueblo Boulevard corridor. These new businesses include a Whataburger fast food restaurant, Starbucks Coffee, a Circle K fuel and convenience store, Maverick Travel Center at the intersection of I-25 and Pueblo Boulevard, opened in 2024, and Murphy's USA Fuel Station opened in October of 2024. The city continues to find new ways to work with CDOT to get the permits processed in a more timely manner for increased development. Additional development includes Pinion Ridge Commercial Center developments with 3 new businesses under construction in Pinion Ridge Commercial Center, located west of I-25 on the north side of Drew Dix Boulevard, including a TA Travel Center, Black Bear Diner, and LV Petroleum Truck Service Center. Across town, you will find North Pueblo Boulevard apartment housing developments, which is 2 new housing developments under construction east of Pueblo Boulevard in Park West area of the city. Pueblo Springs Apartments first phase will have 199 apartment units located south of 31st Street. The Cottages at the Park West, located south of Spalding Avenue, is constructing 186 housing units within 93 duplex buildings. The City Planning and Zoning Commission approved the development plans for the Hart Phase 4 expansion, and construction of the project started in June of 2024. This project was a result of finally bringing together multiple funding sources to get to the 4th phase of development started, a project that has been in the works since 2016. In 2018, the citizens of Pueblo County voted for a list of community projects to be completed with allocated funds. Both the boathouse and channel extension were part of the project list. Pueblo County government allocated $9 million from ballot initiative 1A funding. Over the last 6 years, we have been working to find gap funding to complete the project so we would not lose the allocated funds. In the spring of 2024, the City of Pueblo received a $1 million Department of Local Affairs DOLA grant. The $1 million grant required a $1 million match from the City of Pueblo. The city then moved forward with the project after years of stalling. Funding was also secured from Pedco half-cent sales tax fund and from PURA. A total of nearly $16 million in funding was secured to finally complete the Harp Channel extension and boathouse projects nearly 6 years later. The city will be working on 2 additional 1A projects that were allocated by the voters, the East Side Streetscape and the Union Main Street revitalization projects. Both projects, since the long lapse and start date, have become more costly, and the city will continue to look for more gap funding to complete these 2 projects. Now I'd like to talk about beautifying Pueblo. There have been a variety of efforts to accomplish this through trash cleanups, capital improvement, and overall maintenance of our city assets. One area in particularly that was a priority for me on day 1 was to address the unlicensed hotels in our community, which happened first by addressing the issues formerly known as the Roadway Inn. This place of business was shut down on my first day in office, something I had been working since City Council. This was a coordinated effort with our sales tax department ultimately having the authority to revoke their business license because of non-compliance. We had support from Pueblo Department of Public Health and Environment, the Pueblo Fire Department, Parole, Pueblo Regional Building, and the Pueblo Police Department. While many wanted to falsely narrate a story of displacing dozens of individuals, what we found was many of these individuals returned to their homes, left town, or found another place to live. A majority of these individuals were responsible for the 1,600 calls for service, a death, drug distribution, and prostitution. This was a nuisance to the community and a threat to the health and well-being of our citizens. Since then, I've created a group that meets regularly to address compliance issues like business license lapse, fire code violations, building inspections, health department inspections, and more. The City of Pueblo then again in April of 2024 went into the former value stay where the living conditions were deplorable. We had high crime, extensive and intensive calls for service from our police department, and health and safety risk to the public. At this time, we called on many of our nonprofit partners to ensure that individuals, pets, and children were cared for when they were displaced. Again, without this intervention, the city of Pueblo was at risk for more danger and unsightly business taking advantage of our citizens and creating more crime in our community. Now on to more of the cleanup. Parks and Recreation. The Team Up to Clean Up Team program was established in 2023 to clean up trash and debris throughout the community and qualified census tracts of the city. At the end of November 2024, the Team Up to Clean Up crew removed and disposed of approximately 170 tons of trash, over 1,500 tires, 11,500 hypodermic needles, and 1,500 shopping carts. The program continues to make a significant impact on the city, having a cleaner and safer appearance. Parks maintenance and horticulture teams continued the outstanding maintenance of over 613 irrigated park acres and more than 39 acres of streetscapes, medians, and highway right-of-way within the city. The team of dedicated staff continues to keep Pueblo's 80 parks, trails, streetscapes green, clean, and safe. Some of the notable projects completed in 2024 include installation of new all-inclusive playground at Loris Park, formerly known as Starlight Park, with a ribbon cutting that was held on Memorial Day. Replace the chain link fencing backstops at Starter Field 1 and 2 and City Park Ball Field 3 and 4. Parks and Rec also completed large upgrades to the lighting facilities of approximately 99% of city-owned softball fields, outdoor basketball courts, and tennis courts, consisting of extremely old lamps which use large quantities of wattage to operate. These old lights generated exceptionally high utility expenses and to operate annually. This project included replacement of the old lights with new LED lights and poles at City Park Ball Fields 3 and 4, and addition of new LED lights and poles to the Mineral Palace Park pickleball courts. Future light replacements project include a 17-court City Park tennis complex, Joe Santos Field at Ray Aguilera Park, St. Anne's Ball Field, and Stoddard Field. Additionally, we have more amenities to look forward to and utilize in our community. Waterworks Park, a Board of Waterworks project funded by $11 million, is nearing completion. In 2022, the rehab of the Southside Diversion Dam, located in the northern area of City Park on the Arkansas River. The project goal is to improve safety on the river by creating a passageway to allow users to ride the river unimpeded to Runyon Lake. The park is expected to be populated by river tubers, rafters, kayakers, paddleboarders, and surfers by next summer. This project also included 2 bridges and an island beach area and passageways to allow fish to migrate and swan the area. The city is currently working on a master plan for the area, and in 2025 in my budget, I allocated $500,000 to this project. I believe this project will be a driver of tourism dollars for our community. Another win for the community will be the new multi-use turf field that will be funded through the city, Pura, and District 60 that will be located in the blighted parking lot by Central High School. This project was partly funded by the city at $250,000 with ARPA funds. Now on to Public Works. Public Works also has been instrumental in the large item cleanups done twice a year and 2 branch drop-off locations for the microburst and second cleanup the city provided to the community this past year. The department helped collect and dispose of over 400 tons of trash from our community. That's a lot of trash. Our Public Works Department continued capital improvement projects and maintenance across the city. In 2024, the Engineering Division oversaw dozens of capital improvement projects, including design and construction of both vertical and horizontal construction supporting roads, facilities, and projects within city departments, including Parks and Rec, Airport, Fire, Police, Municipal Court, Planning, and Community Development. Some of the projects undertaken this year include Dillon Drive resurfacing, Northern Avenue resurfacing, Elizabeth Street concrete improvements, Bonfort Avenue concrete improvements, 29th Street concrete improvements, constructing the Adams and Jackson roundabout, Elmwood Golf Pass, Elmwood parking lot repairs, Elizabeth Street basketball courts replacement known as the slab, Northern Avenue sewer extension design, multiple ADA curb ramp upgrade projects, asphalt crack sealing in various locations. We continued to pave roads throughout 2024, utilizing Tabor funds in previous years and budget allocation of nearly $10 million each year for the last 3 years. Fees for the city's street utility repair enterprise were initially suspended in 2022 and will remain suspended through the end of 2025 unless additional action is taken by council. This fee was used to generate $2.5 million in road revenue for the city and is unfortunately no longer on the books. In 2024, approximately 14.4 lane miles of aging roadways across the city were resurfaced. Not only did we repair the pavement, but we also updated damaged sidewalks, curbs, gutters, and curb ramps. Some of the projects included significant repair of existing underground utility infrastructure. Road repair projects completed in 2024 include the following: Dillon Drive, Northern Avenue, Granada Boulevard, Cheyenne Avenue, D Street, Mechanic Street, B Street, and Amherst Avenue. ADA curb ramps were also upgraded on Core Street, West 29th Street, and Bonfort Avenue in preparation of pavement resurfacing that will take place when funding is made available. This current chart highlights, I got to get to the chart. There we go. This current chart highlights the number of miles of city roads that were resurfaced or rebuilt between 2002 and 2024. The average line shows the number of central line miles repaired, while the blue line shows the number of lane miles road repaired each year. The distinction between center lane miles and lane miles is important because the city has been working on several arterial and collector roadways, which are generally more travel lanes, parking lanes, and other features such as dedicated bicycle lanes. Significantly more asphalt is required for these roads when compared to most residential streets. The number of lane miles repaired has been tracked since the street utility enterprise was established in 2018. Public safety. A top priority of the City of Pueblo, and for me as the mayor of this community, is public safety. I would first like to highlight the work of the fire department. Pueblo Fire Department had more than 2,500 calls for service, not including 859 directing service to others or DOTS calls. This is an increase of about 4.36% over the last year and is within a couple hundred calls of 2022. Total response times went down by 18 seconds, which is the best time since 2018 when the department switched to priority dispatch. The fire department averages 72 calls a day. The department also experienced growth this year with increased development of housing and planning for the future of Pueblo. Fire welcomed 3 assistant chiefs, 6 lieutenants, put a second truck in service in late 2024. The new 125-foot ladder truck, also known as Truck 52, was put into service in November. We also broke ground on new fire stations 6, 8, and 11 in May of 2024 and are looking forward to the completion of those fire stations this year. In 2024, we also faced 2 major fires in our community with the Vision Hills and Everest fires. On April 5th of 2024, the city experienced 2 separate but significant events. The first, a wildland fire on the north end of town, Vision Hills Fire, which requested wildland mutual aid from the county and initiated a particular activation of the Emergency Operations Center. A short time later, a fire broke out at Everest. The fire size, smoke, and potential chemical involvement upscaled the activation and request from the city to a full EOC activation. Due to the high demand of local resources, both the city and county made emergency declarations. I want to thank our Pueblo Fire Department for their tireless work to ensure our community was kept safe. In addition to their work, we owe our gratitude to over 40 community partners who co-responded to those fires and assisted our department to keep us all safe. Now I would like to talk about the police department. I'd like to focus my shift in the success of the Pueblo Police Department in 2024. Like many police departments across the nation, we are continually striving to be innovative in recruiting and retention efforts. The department's recruitment team attended various events in the Front Range and in other states, including military institutions. We saw a notable improvement in recruitment and retention in 2024. At the beginning of my term, I recognized the necessity for internal changes to improve improve our recruitment numbers. I've facilitated changes to our civil service process, which have significantly impacted our outcomes. 20 officers left the department in 2024, a decrease from 40 in 2023. Our expanded recruitment efforts led to a remarkable 143% increase, resulting in 34 new hires. We have retained 30 of those hired in 2024, which is more than double the 14 hires in 2023. The hiring process for all positions, sworn and civilian, is ongoing throughout the year. Please apply today or let someone else know who might be interested in working for the Pueblo Police Department. Additionally, this year, the Pueblo Police Department continued use of CompStat, an intelligence and data-driven approach to addressing crime, which has proven highly beneficial, with data shared weekly throughout the department to watch commanders, sergeants, patrol officers, and investigators. Data collected by the department's crime analysts include various crime statistics that show crime trends to inform daily decisions and allow for adjustments to the allocation of manpower and resources between calls for service. This approach gives officers the information they need to identify and proactively address specific areas of concern during their shifts. I would like to highlight the work done by the DICE team. The DICE team was formed in 2022 to help combat lower-level crimes such as shoplifting, loitering, trespassing, and to provide resources during outreach to the unhoused. DICE continues to have a dramatic impact on addressing quality-of-life crimes in Pueblo. In 2024, they issued 3,800 citations and 159 PR bonds, making 118 warrant arrests, conducting 1,876 cop calls, recovering 76,000 in stolen merchandise, and handling 4,200 calls for service. DICE also continued its commitment to outreach with the unhoused, building on their efforts from 2023. Throughout 2024, several cleanup efforts along Fountain Creek and I-25 occurred to address multiple public safety and health concerns. In conjunction with the DICE team, the Solutions Outreach Services, SOS team, responded to 657 calls for service, effectively reducing the need for police officer interventions. In May, we implemented a new unit called the Impact Team, a proactive policing unit working to disrupt criminal activity within the community and assist in creating a better quality of life for the citizens of Pueblo. The detectives work in a two-man capacity and utilize their observation skill set as well as resources such as ShotSpotter and the Real-Time Crime Center to focus on gangs, guns, and drugs. This unit has performed over 800 traffic stops, written over 80 warrants with more than 100 warrant arrests, written or served more than 24 search warrants, written more than 200 citations, recovered over 30 firearms and more than 20 motor vehicles, and seized several narcotics, including methamphetamine, fentanyl, heroin, and cocaine. Utilizing these tactics and expanded technology in the Real-Time Crime Center launched in July of 2024, Part 1 crime decreased an additional 7% on top of the 13% seen in 2023. There were dramatic reductions of 30% in auto theft, and in 2024, we had 20 homicides compared to the 27 we had in 2023. The reductions can be attributed to, in part, an ongoing focus on more proactive police work, targeted approaches, recovering vehicles and motor vehicle thefts, and holding auto thefts criminals accountable in accordance with revised legislation that returned auto thefts of any value to a felony. By October last year, ShotSpotter recorded 1,000 alerts for the year, resulting in 279 case reports, 1,800 casings, and 37 firearms recovered, 29 arrest citations, and delivered aid in 14 incidents. Notably, the technology alerts us to shots fired even when citizens don't. Of the 1,000 alerts that were issued, 250 were reported, meaning 750 gunshots went unreported by our citizens. Unfortunately, increasing crime rates were seen in assaults, both in aggravated and sexual, as well as an increase in theft and larceny. Unfortunately, over the last 3 years, we have seen a massive increase in crime in the city of Pueblo, regardless of our advances in policing. While there are several causes to increase in crime, many of which we suffer from, including manpower and legislation, I believe another cause for this increase is a lack of accountability and consequences when it comes with the crimes we deal with at our municipal level that are committed. Our officers write citation after citation for these offenses, and these offenders ignore their court dates, continue their criminal behavior, and wreak havoc in our community. It is my strong belief that the ability to jail these offenders at the time of their criminal behavior will help us address the sense of lawlessness in our community and change or reduce these behaviors. It is no shock that anyone in our community that these criminals know that they cannot be jailed, and clearly they do not care about the citations they receive. In 2025, we will be working with the sheriff, or should I say begging the sheriff, to accept offenders into the jail rather than releasing them just after 5 minutes of processing for an immediate consequence for breaking the law for municipal offenses. There will always be more work to be done, and the Pueblo Police Department is dedicated to finding additional ways to address these concerns, and more by advocating for impactful changes at the legislative level. Building upon these improvements and partnering in new ways, I am proud of the ways we have been able to keep the Pueblo community safer in the last year, and will continue to look for more ways as we proceed into 2025. Let's give all of our law enforcement and of first responders a big round. As we look ahead to 2025, we're looking at ways to strengthen our budget. I informed the City Council of the $8.6 million deficit the city would be facing for the 2025 budget. A hiring freeze has been implemented for some positions that aren't mandatory at this time. About 18 positions were eliminated because they no longer fit into department needs. Only 6 new positions were approved for the 2025 budget to staff the 3 new fire stations. Capital improvement project funding in previous years has been upwards of $15 to $20 million per year, while this year only allocating $3 million was approved for capital improvement projects to assist with our budget constraints. Across Colorado, 77% of other communities have a higher sales tax rate than Pueblo. This includes special taxes that are allocated to pave roads, improve parks and recreation access, or other special interest projects for the city's budget. In the city of Pueblo, we have approved the half-cent sales tax to fund Economic Development Corporation and .2 tax for public safety sales tax to assist with the Pueblo Police Department in staffing and technology needs. I am looking at an opportunity to assist the budget shortfall for year to come, for this deficit will remain and possibly increase if not addressed with ways to increase revenue. While the city of Pueblo experiences growth and development of new businesses and new housing projects, the impact will not be seen immediately. The food tax of 3.5% looks to increase revenue immediately. The city of Pueblo has not raised taxes in over 50 years and currently operates on a 3% sales tax, meaning that for every dollar spent in the community, only 3 pennies are collected to the general fund. A grocery bill of $200 would generate roughly $6 to the city of Pueblo's general fund balance. While this initiative is up to the vote of the people and will appear on the ballot if approved by Pueblo City Council later this year, a trusted revenue source must be secured to address quality of life, essential services, and a healthy, vibrant Pueblo to remain for generations. Over the past 50 years, Pueblo has not kept up with the cost of doing business, leading to budgetary constraints we are facing today. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics Consumer Price Index, the dollar had an average inflation rate of 3.89% per year between 1972 and today, producing a cumulative price increase of 655%. This is 6.5 times higher than prices were in 1972. As a community, we have an opportunity to take the financial first steps to improve Pueblo's opportunities and its future. Pueblo can have more and do more if we choose to invest in ourselves and find new ways to generate revenue, which in turn will only improve and expand essential city services that our citizens deserve to have in their community. Amenities, capital improvement, essential everyday services, public safety priority, and providing the best quality services to our citizens is our goal in every task we do each day. I would like to conclude my presentation today by acknowledging again the effort of our hardworking, dedicated city employees that have made my goals and vision for this community a reality. I would also like to thank my husband Danny for his support while I serve as your mayor, and my family and friends. While we have already begun to accomplish many of the things I set out to do in my first term as mayor, including addressing homelessness, developing and beautifying our community, and prioritizing public safety, I do know there is more work to be done. I look forward to more opportunities to continue to be transparent and tell of our challenges and successes ahead of us. I want our citizens to feel connected, respected, and protected. Thank you again for joining me today for the State of the City.